It's WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers, reconnecting with, I know I always say this, and I hope you don't think I'm being cliche and crazy, but you are one of my favorite people, and you know that, right?
One of your favorite people?
I'm sorry. You are my favorite person.
Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, Terrie. Yeah, that's right.
I'm with the one and only Lonesome George Thorogood. It is so great to see your face. I think the last two times we spoke was on the phone, and that's never really good enough for me. I like to have you in the studio, or I like to see your face. You're on the road, you're touring. I want you to tell me what it was like the first night back in front of that crowd after 16, 17, 18 months of being at home.
Terrifying. No, it was great, of course, but you have to understand, we're thinking in the mode of we have to put on a tremendous performance, and we were a little rusty, so it was a little shaky getting it off the ground. It takes, even if you have a layoff of even a month or two, when you're in an ensemble, when it doesn't all fall into place immediately. You see what I'm saying? It takes a little time to get the rhythm going, get the right songs going at the right time. So yeah, the first night was it was a little scary. It was we had great turnout in Illinois, I may add, fantastic, and a great venue. We said, well, everything's great, we better be great. So
you guys are always amazing, and the thing I love about a Thorogood show is it's sheer joy. It's one of the shows, and I don't want to say one of the few shows because people always feel joy with music, but your show is always one of those shows where there's just never that down moment. There's never the bathroom moment. Everybody's always on their feet, having a great time, and just having like a joyous moment. And I think after this last year and change, the joyous moments were just so wanted. So I watched some footage on your socials, and just amazing to see how happy people were. When you looked out and you saw those faces, what was that like for you guys?
That's what the thing is all about with us. I usually say, people ask about that what you've just explained to me, that type of analysis, so to speak. And I said, look, there's enough pain in the world. There's enough suffering in the world. Me, I like to share pleasure with people. Pain I keep to myself. I'm not one of those kind of people, especially when it comes to performing and music and all that sort of thing. I don't sit down and modulate over a tune and say this is a song I wrote about my death of my baby brother when he was 14 in a car wreck. Everybody has those tragedies. Everybody, you can't go through life without those things. But you're only out there for 90 minutes, okay? So I figure, why bring that up? Like I say, joy I want to share with everybody. Pain I keep to myself.
Yeah, and that joy is there. We get the joy at the Bergen Pack in Englewood on Tuesday night, and I can't wait to see you on the Bergen Pack stage. Has it been challenging touring during COVID times? Everybody's being a little extra careful. Normally we would say, George, come on out to the station and hug everybody. We've not been doing that as well, for our safety as well. So how has it been for you guys? Are you doing the band bubble? Everybody's been staying in their bubbles, not a lot of restaurants out, not a lot of people in, and that sort of thing?
Well, I try to do a lot of that anyway. So I haven't really cut anything.
Yeah, no, you've told me
lifestyle.
that before. You said, you know what, when we talked when everybody was in lockdown, and you're like, you know what, I'm kind of a lockdown guy anyway. I like to stay home. I like to work out a little bit. I like to do my thing at home, and then you wind me up, you put me on the stage, and I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to go. So
that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
pretty much it. But we had to eliminate the meet and greets, which because of the virus, we had to play it safe there. So. And I haven't been into any studios yet, which informed me that you and I were going to do it this way and not go into the studio. I'll live with it. I'll bring it up at therapy. I said I can't go into the studio with Terrie and be and our usual gig that we do.
Our
So that,
usual fun George and Terrie show. Well, I always feel like
yeah.
too, when I have you on the air, I always feel like it's not George on Terrie's show. I feel like it's Terrie on George's show. I feel like it's sort of a host co-host, sort of like, the old days of like a Regis and Kathy Lee. Maybe I'm dating myself, but you and me could be like the rock and roll Regis and Kathy Lee.
Well, I don't agree with that, Terrie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you said you're dating yourself. I don't think you have any trouble getting any dates.
Oh, but a boom, 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 boom. You know what, though? You talked about we're not doing the meet and greets and meeting with people. You've always been, I think, man of the people, very philanthropic. You've always been somebody who can get involved with our veterans, who has been there for cancer causes. Why is it important for you to be able to give back a little bit? And you're always so happy to do it. I see your face when you're posing with somebody at a show for something, a veteran, a wounded veteran, someone in a wheelchair. And the smile I see on your face in those moments is so big and warm and grand and genuine. And I know that this is something that you feel from the heart and something you really want to do. A, you've got to miss that right now. And B, why is it so important to get involved with people on that real personal one-on-one level?
Well, because it's personal. Because it's important to them. That's why we do it. If it's important to them, it makes it important to me, because that's what we're thinking about. We're not thinking of ourselves in that situation. It's not a thing we do for, hey, give me a pat on the back type of thing.
No,
it's not about.
no.
It's not about that. So it's about, remember something. We go back on the bus after we play the show, and I sit there and look at myself in the mirror for about a couple hours, that kind of thing. But these people have to go home in a wheelchair. They have to go home with cancer or leukemia or whatever that they're afflicted with. So we're exposed to these people for 10, 15 minutes. These people are stuck with this maybe for the rest of their life. And what kind of life level are they leading? You know what I'm saying? So to us, yeah, I'm saying, it ain't up to me. It ain't about me. I guess I can say it ain't about me. It's about them. So if they're lit up, then I'm lit up.
Yeah. And you've got the fan. I love on your website, you always got like the fan of the week, or, a very much, a man of the fans, a band of the fans. The Destroyer's always been like that.
Well, I was a fan to start with. You're still, I know you love your work, but I get a sense from Terrie that Terrie is still a fan.
I'm a fan of yours.
Well, a fan of music in general. A fan of
biggest fan. It's why I do it. I always say my job's 97% putting out fires and 3% of what I got into it for, and that's being a fan and loving the music. We've talked Stones, me and you, and how we've, Stones life-changing band for me. The minute I saw them, I was like, I want to be with those people. I don't want to be with the people over here at my dinner table. I want to be one of those people. So I'm a music fan through and through, man. I live for it every day.
Well, it's when I meet certain people that say, this, that, and the other, I go to the show or I buy a record or buy a ticket, and I say, well, I've been there. I'm still there. I've been there when I was younger. We wouldn't fail to go see Jeff Beck. We'd always be there for the Mothers of Invention. I saw everything from Mississippi John Hurt to Doc Watson, all the way up to B.B. King, and everything that falls in between as a fan. And after a while, I realized that being a fan is enough for me. I got to get up there. I kept getting closer to the stage, closer to it, until I was on the stage. And then I said, well, now you got to learn to do something. You got yourself up here. So, yeah, I hope that never goes away with me. I mean, I still, get excited if I get a ticket to go see Tom Jones or Jeff Beck or anybody. That thrill is still there with me.
Yeah.
So I hope if that goes away, then I'm gone.
George, do you remember and I'm sure you do, the first gig, your first gig, where you got a guitar and you got up in front of people? I don't know if it was 20 people, 2 people, or 200 people. and you played. Where was that? And what was that like? Was it terrifying and exhilarating at the
No,
same time?
no, it was exhilarating, but it wasn't terrifying. It was when I was doing that with Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee in New England in a club. I had been playing on the streets, and I did a guest set in New York City with Little Feat and Bonnie Raitt. They did those kind of things in those days. It allowed people to go out and play like 3 songs. And I met her manager, sent me up to Cambridge, and I did the same thing, I guess, and they hired me on the spot. Well, I wasn't trembling, believe you me. I was thinking, I belong here. I've been working for this. I've been working for this for years to
Wow.
get here, to get started. You know, when they started the World Series in '88, and they talked to Oral Hershiser, and they said, you seem very calm at the World Series. You're not scared. You're not freaking out. And he goes, I've been working for this since I was 8 years old. This is the moment I've been working for it. If I'm going to be scared of it, this is it. So when I went out there and played, and it wasn't just a matter of confidence, I said, this is where I belong. I've worked hard to just get here. And and another thing I was thankful, I said, I'm not playing on a street corner. I'm playing with Sonny Terry and Brandon McGee, and I'm getting paid for it.
I'm
So
ready to go, man.
there was that.
I am ready to go. I am ready to go. You know, I'm never far away from my my Thorogood collection either. You know, I don't know if you can see it. I got my little green screen here, but I'm never far away. My CD is what I play. My vinyls I always hold on to, and I'm literally like, you're in the living room here. You know, you're in the living room with the collection. Thorogood records. I mean, I've been counting since, I don't know, is it 81 or 2 or 81 or 2 or something? I mean, it's a monster catalog of tunes. And that's why too, people come out to Bergen Pack, it's like one after the other. Am I going to hear my favorite? Do you know what my favorite song that you guys do is? Did I ever tell you?
You've told me a lot of things, Terry.
I know. I'm
What?
wondering if I told you that though, because that might be too fangirl. But I do have a favorite that when you guys do it, I lose my, you know what? I lose it.
It's not Get a Haircut, is it?
No. I like Get a Haircut.
Which one is it?
Gear Jammer.
Gear Jammer.
I'm a huge Gear Jammer fan.
Maybe Terry, if luck is with me, if I play that song well enough, bad enough, maybe I might get lucky enough to get farther than just the living room.
You're so funny. You are so funny. But I could be having the worst day in the world. And that song, I'll play that song, or I'll put that song on in the car. And there's nothing like hearing that. Like, all is right in the world with me when I get to hear Gear Jammer.
Well, it was our one attempt to crash into the rock scene. It's my 4.5 to 5 minutes to be Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, and all those cats, and then we kind of go back to the George thing.
Well, you're always a guitar god, but that definitely is a little more of the guitar god Thorogood tune. Hey, by the way, I was thinking of you too when we lost Charlie Watts. Was Charlie Watts one of the first Stones that you met? Or I don't know. Did I read that?
I was fortunate enough, Terry, to meet the Rolling Stones before I ever saw them play.
Wow.
Now, how many people can say that? And the first Rolling Stone I met was Charlie Watts.
Yeah.
Who came to me and introduced himself. And I have the best rock story in the world. Better than, no one can top it. Nobody. The first thing one of the Rolling Stones said to me, the very first thing is, George, may I have your autograph? He had my album. Yeah,
is that
had
true?
Our first album.
Well, I saw you in Philadelphia when I was in high school opening for the Stones.
Is it true? Of course it's true. I would have said it was Paul Newman, or if it wasn't true, I'd have made something else up. How can you make up a story like that?
But I remember seeing you in Philly. Yeah, I was in high school, and it was this tremendous bill with you and the Stones, and I even think like Journey was on it. Like, it was just this crazy good bill, and you and the Stones were just so, it was a perfect, so simpatico. It was a perfect opener for that Rolling Stone show, for that giant stadium show. That might have been my first Stone show ever.
Well, I want you to make sure you spread it around. I'm going to ask other people in this line of work, top my rock and roll story. You can't.
No, I don't think you can.
Wait a minute. I was like you, 14 years old, looking in the mirror, trying to make my hair look like Brian Jones, trying to play the guitar like Keith Richards. And here I am, and one of the Rolling Stones walks up with my album, with a pen, how do you do, George? I'm Charlie Watts. Could I have your autograph, please? And I got the pen in my hand. I was shaking. I was like this. I was getting, it's George. Yeah, right. Wait, GE. So I don't want anybody tell me they can top that story.
No, untoppable, of course. And
Yeah.
so are we thinking maybe any more music releases coming? I know it's been tough to get into the studio, and but I know you're always working. You're always working. You're always doing something. Always working.
So that's I talked to I was lucky enough to get a phone conversation, a good semi-lengthy phone conversation with the great Frank Zappa, and we discussed that about things of that thing. And I said, it's something you start doing, and it's like it never turns off, like the faucet. It just doesn't. Even if it's a bad idea, something's always come to you. And with that great Zappa voice, he goes, "It's a disease, George." And he was right. It's once you catch that disease, there's no cure for it. So
I
yeah,
would have
you're right.
loved to have been a fly on the wall for the conversation between Frank Zappa and George Thorogood.
It was a unique thing because I had done an interview with a gentleman in the Carolinas, and we were doing an interview, and we were talking about Frank, and I said what a fan I was of Frank Zappa, and he said, "Yeah, well, I know Frank." I said, "Well, that's not an easy thing to do," and he said, "Yeah, that's right. He's not, he's not Little Richard. He's Frank Zappa, And I said, "Well, congratulations." He said, "Listen, if there's every chance I could hook you up to talk with you, I'll see what I can do." Years passed, 2, 3, 4 years. And I get a phone call, and it's this gentleman said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah. Yeah, we were down in Carolina talking about Frank Zappa." He said, "Well, I got a three-way going from where I am in the Carolinas and Philadelphia and LA, and I got Frank on the phone. He wants to
Now,
speak to
like
you."
right then,
Yeah,
you got to
right
talk to
that
him?
moment. Right that moment. The
Wow.
guy remembered. And I pick up the phone. I hear his voice, and he goes, "How you doing, George? In Philadelphia, playing the blues."
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was telling
Amazing.
me that one of his children had turned him on to one of our albums. He happened to be walking by the bedroom, and more record was playing. He said, "Hey, what's that you're listening to?" And his son said, "Well, it's this guy, George." And since then, Frank, I said, "At least Frank knows who I am. I want to get off the phone now before I blow it."
And you cannot people cannot get Frank Zappa on the phone. I mean,
No, right,
so he
exactly.
must have been a fan too. I would
Whatever,
imagine, had he seen you,
well,
maybe he would have asked for your autograph. You would have had the second greatest rock and roll
mhm.
story ever.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to meet people on that level of music, people of all natures. We spoke many times with Joni Mitchell. I've talked to Frank that one time. Chris Christopherson, people that I look up to.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the one thing that Bob Dylan, I've met 3 times, was fantastic, fantastic. And one thing these people don't respect, this is what they demand: the truth. If you're a phony, within 30 seconds, you're gone, and you don't get a second chance. And that's what they respect more than ever. Like when I saw Bob Dylan for the first time, I said, "I'm going to be really cool when I meet Bob Dylan. I'm going to be I've been waiting all these." He sent for me, actually. How do you like that? He sent for me. So
Wow.
yeah, he sent for me. I had to wait and get into his dressing room, and he was sitting over there, and he's like dressed up like Montgomery Cliff or Marlon Brando from One Eye Jacks. He's very into that, which I am too. And I see him. I said, "I'm going to be cool." There's the man. He steps up and he points his finger, clicks his finger like this. It's like that. That's what he does. And I see him, and I go, "Bob!" I completely lost it. But
Oh,
he's the person. Some of these people always try to act so cool around these big stars and try to say something that's very clever and something they never heard. Well, I'm just not that guy. Somebody in our record say, "Well, George is kind of a heart on his sleeve kind of guy." And I said, "My heart's on my sleeve, on my pants, on my shirt. It's not just
George,
on my
that's what we love about you. George is
uh,
you get what you see. There's no one more genuine. And I cannot wait to see you on Tuesday at the Bergen Pack in Englewood. It's going to feel so good to see your face and to feel the music. Tickets, by the way, a few still remain. So hit the Bergen Pack's website. And it is just always a pleasure to see you, always a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you so much. I always thank you for all the years of great tunes. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Terrie, there is no bottom to your heart. I'll see you later.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay safe, okay?
I'll do it.
All right,
Bye-bye.
we'll talk soon. Bye. DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith, and Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway. Online at doverdodge.com.